How's it going, everybody? Welcome into episode number 2 of the On the TL podcast, the official insiders podcast of the NBA G League's Texas Legends. The Legends season is underway. They've wrapped up the preseason training camp and, of course, their preseason scrimmage in the HBCU Classic at Paul Quinn College. They've played now 3 games in the Showcase Cup, the tip-off tournament in the NBA G League, and it hasn't necessarily gone in the favor of the Legends so far on the court, but things have been phenomenal off the court. You've got plenty of new upgrades to the Comerica Center, brand new seats, brand new floor, brand new video boards, and it was all showcased on November 17th in the opener against the Memphis Hustle. The Hustle did end up winning the basketball game 90-85, but we started to see some glimpses of what Jordan Sears' team is doing in the future. We've had good play from Jazian Gortman, the two-way prospect with the Dallas Mavericks, playing at the guard position, helping lead the way in a scoring standpoint, but also Tyson Walker, who was a draft pick out of Michigan State in game number 2 of the year on the road against the Austin Spurs. He finished with 35 points and able to really make that a ball game late against Austin. So right now, the number one concern for Jordan Sears' team is going on the road and getting that first win of the 2024-25 campaign and get back in contention as far as the Showcase Cup goes. They've got some big-time matchups on the road with their second appearance in the Paycom Center against the reigning G League champion Oklahoma City Blue. They'll play that game on Thursday as they start their road trip. Then on Saturday, they take on the Memphis Hustle, second time they've seen the Memphis Hustle this season. But on this episode of On the TL, we have an opportunity to catch up with one legend that has not seen the floor yet, but is ready to see the floor for the first time in a Legends uniform. It's two-way prospect Kessler Edwards joining us right now. So now joined here on the TL with Kessler Edwards. And Kessler, first off, welcome to the Texas Legends. Welcome to the Dallas Mavericks. We're excited to have you here as a two-way player for 24-25. I mean, what have these last couple months been like for you? Not a ton of playing, dealing with that ankle injury, but for the most part, you've still been able to interact with a lot of these guys along the way.
Yeah, it's been fun for me. When I first signed, I was excited just to come to the Mavs, a team that made the finals last year. So just going through preseason, even though I wasn't able to play with the guys, just watching everything and seeing the championship habits they have, all the goals they have for the season. It's been fun and exciting. So
we are certainly excited to see you on the floor at the Comerica Center coming up soon enough. And you'll make this road trip to Oklahoma City and then, of course, to Memphis, like I talked about a moment ago. But there's a lot on the line this year for the Mavericks, and depth is a big question mark there because of it. You want to make another deep run to the NBA Finals. What's been the vibe around the organization this year and the goals that are at hand, whether it be in the in-season tournament, the NBA Cup, or, of course, through the regular season trying to get back to the finals?
It's been just that. I think the main thing the staff and all the players are talking about, like I said, is just championship habits. So from day one of training camp, just every day, what are we doing? Not so much focusing on getting there. We know it's a long path, but just every day, just the consistency of that. So that's what it is right now.
Now let's talk about how you got here, because you played at Pepperdine, was an all-conference player in the WCC, which of course has great basketball out there on the West Coast, but also you got a chance to play with not only the Sacramento Kings these last few seasons, but with the Long Island Nets and the Brooklyn Nets as well at the NBA level. I mean, talk about your journey. Who's been kind of the biggest influence for you in your basketball career and helped you get to the Mavericks and the Legends today?
Yeah, I would just have to say, I mean, coming up, just my immediate family. Grew up in, I have 2 brothers. We all played basketball. I actually played at Pepperdine with one of my older brothers. So that was important for me, helping me get here. And then, just got drafted to the Nets, got to play with KD, James Harden, and then played with Kyrie first there. So that was something that was really fun for me, getting to know him there. And then now reuniting with him back at the Mavericks, just the type of person he is. It's always good to be around him. So,
how much has he grown since that time? I mean, that's been a long time ago with the Nets and now with the Mavericks. I mean, how much has he changed throughout the years?
I think he's just always been himself. He's a one-on-one type of guy, but just seeing him on the Mavs, I think he's an important part of how close this team is. That's one of the first things I noticed. Like, we got guys like Dwight Powell that's been on the team for a decade, and then the young and new guys like myself, and then you got Kai and Luke in between. So I think they're all just an important part of how close the team is.
How much have you learned from Kyrie over the years, both in Brooklyn and here? And do you have a Kyrie story that you can share on a podcast platform? But how much have you learned from him along the way?
I think the main thing I've learned from him was just his love for the game, seeing how he handles himself day in and day out, on and off the court. I remember one time my rookie year, we were going at it in practice. He definitely got the best of me, and then he has just sat me down one time and then was just telling me, how to use my strengths on the defensive end, and just telling me how basketball is a game of art and a game of battle. So just taking advantage of my strengths and those one-on-one opportunities. So that was important to me.
That's awesome. I mean, getting to hear, of course, from an all-pro like that, and somebody who's at the top of his game, top of the game in general. I mean, that has to mean a lot to you as a prospect and somebody who's still trying to establish yourself in the pro game, right?
Yeah, that definitely means a lot for me. Just the fact that he was even willing to do that, and all the guys I've played with, superstars like that in my career is humbling. So,
was that in Brooklyn or was that here in Dallas?
Yeah, that was in Brooklyn my rookie year. Okay. Yeah.
And has he had any excitement seeing you back in the fold now that you're with the Mavericks as well?
Yeah, definitely getting to spend some more time with him. So
always fun. Now, what's been the biggest difference between all the organizations that you've been a part of, whether it be the Nets or the Kings and now the Mavericks, and of course the Legends kind of involved there? What's been the biggest difference between the groups?
All great programs. There's been some differences, like I guess just as far as coaching with the Nets, I got the opportunity to play for Steve Nash, another legendary point guard, and then now I'm back with another one with kids. So just seeing how he interacts with us, gets to know all the players really well, always asking us questions. So that's cool.
Okay, both former All-Pro in their own right point guards. You play with Kyrie. You play with, or now you've played with Steve Nash as a coach and Jason Kidd as a coach. I mean, how do those guys kind of all help you in your game down low as a forward, and maybe it handles or helps you with the ball handling, helps you with your game, trying to grow outside of what you brought to the table in your skill set initially?
I think just being a younger wing player, I think just the decision making and all that. Obviously, those guys were masters with the ball, but I think as a wing, I'm on the other end of that. The one receiving the passes. So whether it's just catching and shooting or just catching, driving it off passes from Luke and Kai, that's really been the main focus. So yeah.
Any similarities in the coaching styles between Steve Nash and Jason Kidd, or is it completely different? Because I always see those two as Mount Rushmore of point guards, at least in our generation, in our era, and guys that we watched growing up. But those two guys as head coaches, is there any similarity or difference?
I think as far as knowledge of the game, it's pretty similar, but they're definitely like different personalities. Steve was more laid back, like always teaching, giving out good game, and then Coach Kidd is more like, I think, relational to the players. Like I said, asking us questions, making sure on the same page. So yeah,
I love that. Now, you're proud Californian, right? West Coast all day. Who has the best coast of basketball? Is it the West Coast? Is it the East Coast? It's always going to be a battle between the two. Do you feel like the West Coast has a severe advantage over the top of the East Coast?
Definitely, I gotta go West. I'm biased, so definitely West Coast. I know Cali got a lot of guys in the league, so yeah, West Coast.
Why? What makes the biggest difference between West Coast ball and East Coast ball?
Man, I don't know. I would say West Coast guys got a lot of finesse. I would say a lot of skill. I don't know. That's everywhere though. It's tough, but I got West Coast for sure.
Okay, and it's all better than like Chicago, right? Like Chicago, Illinois, and that kind of thing. I mean, it's all West Coast, East Coast. I'm putting you in a tough position in that regard. Now, tell me about when you were kind of working your way up on the West Coast and getting to Pepperdine, you talked about your family and the impact that you had from your family. When was the moment that you looked at the game of basketball and said, hey, this is something that I can do professionally and at a high level? Was there ever a moment that it clicked for you?
I don't know. That's a good question, because it's like, as a kid, obviously we all just want to make it to the NBA, but I don't know. I'd probably say like high school going into college. I would probably say college was when it got real, like really saw my chances of playing, professionally. So yeah, probably my freshman year of college.
And kind of taking that to the NBA and finally making that debut with the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, what was that moment like for you to say, hey, I made it. I got to the league and I was able to get to the association?
It was different, man. I'm just getting drafted at the house with all my family. It was hard to believe. At first, it took a minute for it to really settle in. So, and then now I'm already here in my 4th year, so it's gone by fast.
It definitely has. And first year with the Legends, the reason I asked the coast question earlier is because you've played on all 3 coasts. You've got East Coast, West Coast represented, and now you're back here in Central United States at the Dallas level. But moving forward, like you said, you're in year number 4, but you're still very young across the board, and you've got a lot of good basketball to have in front of you. What's your goal going into the year as a two-way prospect between the Mavs and the Legends in order to take your game to the next level?
Just showing the impact that I have on the court. I believe I'm a versatile wing that could definitely help this team with my shooting, my defense, and that's just something that I'm looking to showcase definitely when I'm playing with the Legends. So I'm thankful for that opportunity, and then just using that to stay ready for whenever I'm with the Mavs.
What's it been like playing with Brandon Williams and Jay-Z Gortman and some of these guys that you have around you?
Those guys are talented. I'm not gonna lie. Like, even just playing one-on-one with them, like B. Will, Jazz, they so fast. It's crazy, and then they got all the different layups, and I can't keep up with them in that regard. But no, it's fun playing with them. Yeah.
So you're the wing player out of the 3, and they're the backcourt duo that Texas could possibly see down the line. But who would win in the one-on-one battles? Have y'all played one-on-one before, like you said, or is it just in the mixture of practice and some of the drills?
Yeah, we play like group ones and stuff, but we got to run that back and see a clear winner.
So are you saying that there wasn't a clear winner, or was there?
We play like with other people, teams. So yeah, we
gonna have to run it back whenever you get an opportunity. Now, it is going to be nice seeing you guys on the same team as well, and get to go up against Oklahoma City and Memphis over these next couple of days, and then getting back home for the Showcase Cup and continuing the run. I mean, throughout your time in the G League, what's been the biggest benefit from a developmental standpoint, a league standpoint, and the talent of play that we get to see really week in and week out inside Comerica Center as a part of the G League?
For me, just getting a run with these guys. It's very similar to the NBA, especially in this organization. They have all the same plays and concepts as the Mavs, so that's good for me to get down. And then also this will be – I've played at least a little bit in the G League every year that I've been a pro, so it's always good to have that rhythm and just stay ready for if you do get called up.
And we're excited to have you, and we're excited to see you back on the floor, healthy, ready to roll, and then taking your game to the next level as well. So before we let you go, I want to say, first off, welcome again to the Legends. Excited to see you get back on the floor for it all. Where do you feel like the ceiling is for this team this year as an organization to get to the level that you want to get to? Do you feel like you can achieve greatness with the Texas Legends?
Most definitely. It's going to be a long season, and we have the same goals as the main team, which is championship aspirations. So, yeah, I'm definitely excited for that.
There you go. Kessler Edwards on the TL. Appreciate you as always. Good talking with you. And this won't be the last time. We'll talk plenty as the year goes along and as more wins start to rack up as well. Always great catching up with Kessler. Just over the couple times we've gotten to talk, whether it was Media Day, the preseason, the HBCU Classic, or even now, he's always been so open about wanting to get better. And that was the number one thing that stuck out to me there, is the fact that he continues to grow in the game and learn from those who have played at the highest level. You mentioned Kyrie Irving in the interview and his connection going back to Brooklyn and then now with the Dallas Mavericks. He also talked about really the way that Jason Kidd has had an impact on his career, even though he plays the wing as opposed to a point guard position, and he's not necessarily the facilitator. He's now being able to learn from the facilitators in order to be in the right place at the right time. So really great catching up with Kessler Edwards. Excited to see him in a Legends uniform or a Mavs uniform for the first time. He's yet to make his debut, and I asked him even before the interview started, when's the last time you've gotten live run with a live rep? Other than the scrimmage against the Austin Spurs at Paul Quinn College, he hadn't played a live game going all the way back to the end of last season with the Sacramento Kings. So dealing with an ankle injury, he had to take the preseason off with the Mavericks. Of course, only got a couple of practices in at training camp with the Texas Legends, but his scoring ability and his versatility as a stretch four and some of those guys that you can kind of mix in and out of a lineup, it's going to give Jordan Sears some more options to open up some opportunities for guys like Jay-Z and Gortman, Brandon Williams, the other two-way prospects, and then even some of the top scorers that are on the roster right now for the Legends, such as Tyson Walker out of Michigan State as a rookie, still trying to work his way into the fold as a scorer. I think Kessler Edwards is going to help open up some things along the way. I mentioned at the top of the show that the Legends are heading on the road. They've got 2 road games in 3 days. They've got a Thursday night matchup at the Paycom Center with the Oklahoma City Blue. Then they go to the Lander Center in South Haven, Mississippi to take on the Memphis Hustle on Saturday. Both are 7 o'clock start times, and you can catch both on the Urban Edge Network as well. Plus, they do return home next Monday, a back-to-back for the first time at the Comerica Center. The Osceola Magic come to town. This is a team that's coming off of a hot start to the season. It'll be the first time that the Legends and the Magic face off this year. So having the Magic in town, taking on the Comerica Center and the Legends here in town, back-to-back nights, 7 o'clock start time for both. And you can catch that also on the Urban Edge Network. Be sure to subscribe to On the TL, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and then, of course, on the Texas Legends YouTube page as well for the video content that you see now. You can also see it on the YouTube channel and the Urban Edge Network app as well. Free to download, free to listen, free to subscribe all the way across the board. Be sure to do so as we continue starting this off, the On the TL podcast, official insiders podcast of the Texas Legends. We've got great guests coming up over the next couple of months as well, and we will take you through the entire season here from Comerica Center and then around the Dallas Mavericks, Texas Legends in the NBA, G League, and beyond. I'm your host, Kyle Yeomans. We'll see you next time. Big games coming up for the Legends this weekend, and then back home on November 25th, taking on the Osceola Magic, 7 o'clock start time. We will see you there. So long from On the TL.